welcome to KBTC's Election Night coverage. I'm Tom Layson, the managing editor here at KBTC Public Television and the producer-host of Northwest Now. All of your favorite regular programming is running as scheduled tonight, but during the breaks, we'll be showing you the numbers on one side of the screen and talking with our panel of analysts on the other. And they are former Washington State Auditor and Open Government Advocate Brian Sontag, presidential historian Mike Purdy, the founder of PresidentialHistory.com, and Michael Artime, a visiting assistant professor of politics and government at PLU. First, to bring you up to speed on the national numbers, CNN right now reporting the Electoral College count: Trump 232, Clinton 209, of course 270 needed to win. Statewide, you'll be seeing the numbers now here on the right-hand side of your screen, but a lot of those numbers aren't in. Brian, what numbers aren't you seeing, and why is that important, and what are you keeping an eye on?
Well, you'll notice on the screen in particular that most of the state is in, but we're seeing no numbers yet from King, Snohomish, or Skagit counties, and that's about 2 million or a little bit more registered voters in this state. So we've got a little bit of a trend in some races, but they're all going to change significantly once King and the others come in.
Yeah, you're watching ST3, of course we all are. What are you seeing there?
Well, I'm seeing that being rejected in Pierce County by 5,000 votes, but still the other two counties are Snohomish and King, and there's no numbers yet.
All right, great. Let's swing back to the national race here, which is really turning out tonight to be a nail-biter. The West is going to matter, it looks like. Michael, let's talk a little bit about the balance of power in the Senate.
Yeah, in the Senate, it looks pretty clearly at this point like the Republicans are going to maintain control of the Senate. Before the night began, I set aside 7 races to look at. Of the 4 races that have been called so far, all of them have been called in favor of the Republican candidate. Most recently, with Ron Johnson beating ex-Senator Russ Feingold in Wisconsin, and that was a big upset. That was a major chance for a Democrat to unseat a Republican.
Mike Purdy, we've been watching this race all night, and we all know what the pundits and the pollsters have been saying over the course of the past weeks and months. How did everybody get this thing so wrong?
Well, it's a great question. This race is certainly a lot tighter than anybody anticipated. The polls were all showing Hillary Clinton with a national lead and a lead in many of the key states that are now in question, such as Wisconsin and Michigan, that are up for grabs. And polls are a reflection of what people think at a given point in time. The methodology can be off. We know methodology was wrong in 1948 when Harry Truman pulled an upset over Thomas Dewey, who was projected to win.
Are there populations that are difficult to poll, who maybe hold back a little bit? Brian, you're nodding your head, and who maybe don't reach out to the pollsters in the rural areas they're living?
Well, I think so, and I think it also shows a much deeper unrest than maybe polls were able to identify, and people could. This is not the normal kind of election. This is not the one that was in the wheelhouse of normal pundits and prognosticators. This is a strange one.
And it's tapping something, obviously, that is very difficult to measure, and we'll talk about that in our 10 o'clock break coming up. Stick with coverage here on KBTC Public Television. We're going to be back with more, once again, as we mentioned, at 10 o'clock. The statewide numbers there that were still missing from King, Snohomish, Skagit counties, hopefully they'll be in to give us a little better picture of what's going on locally. Until then, we return you to our regular programming, which is Globe Trekker.